well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Jo here at SportsGrid, and it's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. If you guys could do me a solid, hit that like button, hit that retweet button so we can get this out to more viewers and keep this show going here on SportsGrid TV on X each and every single day. We are live at noon Eastern every day of the week. That includes the weekends. So you guys, let's get straight into it. It's Friday, and we know it's a Freaky Friday always out there on the ice. We didn't see those upsets happening last night. I was so frustrated with some of those games, but I do think we got one upset maybe in the making tonight. I think we've got lower scoring games across the board. I could see the majority of these games staying under the totals of 6 or 6.5. Some of these lines have moved to 6s. So we're going to jump right into it, start breaking down these games, and we're going to long conversation to have about the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. There's a lot that could make history tonight with some records being broken for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we're going to dive into all of them. I don't have like every single one because, you know, you look at Sid and Letang, and if they're able to get a combo goal and assist, we're going to see a record being broken there for offensemen and defensemen for the most. And we're going to see Sid, he's sitting 2 goals shy of 600 goals on the season. He's sitting an assist shy. So we've got a lot to break down in this one. But firstly, let's look at those lines between the Pittsburgh Penguins and Columbus Blue Jackets. I got a bunch of same game point parlays in this one as well. So you definitely want to listen to what we're talking about here. So the Pittsburgh Penguins rolling in at minus 130. This team has had their struggles. We know it. The Columbus Blue Jackets, though, have been on a huge losing streak. This is their first game home off a road trip. They've lost their last 6, never a place I want to bet a team. They're coming in at plus 108. Now we got a total of 6.5. That under 6.5 is coming in at plus 102. I do think, yeah, the Bruins freaking ruined everything last night. Derek, they were not barking at all. The Columbus Blue Jackets, I think, let's firstly look at them. Okay, so they've lost their last 6. This team has been allowing those goals to come in. They lost to the Kraken in their last game. It was like a 5-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken. This is their first game home off a road trip, first night of a back-to-back. Both of these teams are playing their first night of a back-to-back. The Pittsburgh Penguins will play the Sharks tomorrow at home. The Columbus Blue Jackets will play Montreal tomorrow. Then they have the Bruins on Monday. They'll be on the road for that one. They're going to be on the road tomorrow. So they've come home off a road trip. They've struggled. They're one-off home game, then they're back out on the road tomorrow versus Montreal. It's not a spot I can grab. The Columbus Blue Jackets, if you want a player here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, look at Monahan. Monahan has been so strong out there, and I would look at him for his anytime goal tonight. Monahan for the anytime goal coming in at plus 260. He scored at least 1 goal in 3 of the Columbus Blue Jackets' last 4 games. So Monty for the goal, I love. That's the only thing I'm going to do with Columbus here. I do think you can look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, even though this team has had some struggles out there on the ice for over on their goals tonight. Over 3.5 goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in at plus 104. I'm going to go there. Now let's talk about some of the records that can be broken. I lean, if any of these games were to go over, it's because Columbus helps add to this. I just don't see Columbus adding more than 1 or 2 goals. I could see this one finishing 4-2 right under that total of 6.5. So reluctant to take this full game to the over in this one, but I would look at the Pens to be able to get the job done. They're coming in at minus 132, though. That juice is ticking up. Let's look at the records that could be set. Sidney Crosby for the goal tonight's plus 145, 2+ goals coming in at plus 950. Now, if Crosby gets 2 goals tonight, he becomes the 21st player to hit 600 goals. They will be at home tomorrow versus the Sharks. Does he hit 600 at home tomorrow? I could see it happening at home, but I do think he gets that goal tonight, the anytime goal at plus 145. he gets a 600th one tomorrow. If you think it's coming tonight, it's 2+ goals at plus 950. Is it worth a sprinkle? Of course it's freaking worth a sprinkle. So I think Sid gets at least 1 goal tonight. That's at plus 145. Now, you can look at him for the assist as well. So Sid for 2+ points is another way to look. Sid for 2+ points, I just got to pull this up because I can't remember it off my head, top of my head, you guys. Sid for the 1 point is way too juicy at minus 265. 2+ points for Sid coming in at plus 180. If he gets a goal tonight and if he gets an assist, he's looking to move to the 13th most assists in the NHL with an assist tonight with, so he'll move it to the 13th spot with an assist tonight. So a goal and an assist gives us 2 points. That puts us 2+ points for Sid at plus 180. I think it's worth a shot. 2+ points for Sid. Again, if he gets that assist tonight, he moves into the spot for the 13th most assists in the NHL. But also, if Erik Karlsson gets a point tonight, he enters tonight's game 1 point shy of Doug Wilson for 16th place in the NHL for all-time points amongst defensemen. Erik Karlsson for the point for the Pittsburgh Penguins at minus 118. Okay, so those are some records waiting to be broke. We could look at parlaying Sid for 1 point and Karlsson for 1 point. That comes in at plus 118. Okay, I do like that at plus 118 for Sid and Karlsson for the point tonight. I also think you can look at a couple other things. Brian Rust has been so strong versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. So in his career, 22 games versus the Columbus Blue Jackets, 15 points, 4 goals, and 11 assists. You can look at Brian Rust for the 2+ points tonight at plus 330. That's an outside bet. Malkin, 2+ points at plus 260. Malkin leads the team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and is tied for 3rd in the NHL for 14 points on the road this season, 4 goals and 2 assists. So Malkin for 2+ points, getting those assists out there, plus 260. Now, I talked about a defenseman and Sidney Crosby to break records. Sidney Crosby and Chris Letang had combined for 305 goals in their career. They're 1 goal shy of tying Bobby Orr and what's his name? I can't remember the other guy's name. Esposito's record. So they're 1 guy shy or 1 goal shy for heading a record of offensemen and defensemen for the most goals in history combined. I would look at Chris Letang for the point tonight. Chris Letang coming in for the point is not up on FanDuel. So if you can get Chris Letang anywhere for the point, he's on that top line, top defensive pairing out there, and we'll see him on the ice with Sidney Crosby. So the players I'm circling Chris Letang and Sidney Crosby together to make a combo. Malkin, because he's been strong versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Brian Rust, because he's been strong versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. The team total over 3.5 for the Penguins. Chris Karlsson for the point, paired with Sidney Crosby for a point at plus 118. And Crosby for the anytime goal at plus 145. Sprinkle on the 2+ goals. I think there's another couple ways to parlay it. I think Monahan's going to get the goal. If you pair Sidney and Malkin for a point tonight, it's coming in at minus 122. If you add Rust into that, so it's Sidney, Malkin, and Rust for the point, it's plus 162. And if you add Monahan from the Columbus Blue Jackets, that's coming in at plus 331. For me, I'm looking at pairing all of them. I'm going to do just a long shot parlay. Sid, Karlsson, Monahan, that's the only guy from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Rust, Malkin, and Letang, all for the point. Again, FanDuel does not offer Letang for the point. Yeah, you've got to look at Karlsson for 1 point at minus 118. The Pens and the over 8-2. Yeah, they've been very strong versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus is just in a terrible scheduling spot as well. I think it's a 4-2 win here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the over 3.5, you guys, coming in at plus 104. They've scored 3 or more goals in 20 of their last 24 games versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. And 15 of those 24 games, they've scored 4 or more goals. So 15 of 24, I'm willing to take a shot on the over 3.5 in a game where they need to get the win. And we're going to see some records being made no matter what out there on the ice. The Vegas Golden Knights versus the Utah Hockey Club is the next game. Let me just pull up those lines on FanDuel. Vegas is a favorite at minus 128, and I can't go there. You guys, Vegas has won, what, 2 games, 2-6, 2-8 on the road this season. I can't touch them. I believe it's 2-6. I think Utah is barking at home tonight. The Utah Hockey Club at plus 106. Now, they're coming off that fantastic win in their last game out versus the Carolina Hurricanes, and I think they can do what they did to Carolina in this one. They actually played a really strong defensive game, and that's why I'm leaning under in this game. Total sitting at 6.5 at minus 132. They need to play their A game, though. Aiden Hill hasn't been as strong as, his numbers, they don't even look good. He's below 900. He's given up 3 or more goals in 3 of his last 5 games. Utah is a young, scrappy, hot team. They're playing at home. They're coming off a 4-1 win versus the Carolina Hurricanes, where they spent so much freaking time in the box. It was absolutely unbelievable what they were able to do versus Carolina winning that 4-1. Now, Connor Ingram in goal for them. He has a save percentage below 900 as well. So defense is going to have to step up and give them the support out there. They have the Capitals on deck on Monday. When we look at Vegas here, they're the Caps on deck on Sunday at home. They're off that win versus the Anaheim Ducks. Not an impressive win versus the Ducks either. They got that 3-2 win. They've been lighting the lamp with ease, and that's kind of the concern here. We're going to need Connor Ingram to really stand on his head because the Vegas Golden Knights are averaging 4.13 goals per game. Their power play is converting at 32.6%. So if we see Utah play a dirty game, they end up in the box, Vegas will get the win. I need them to shut down Vegas. Vegas has struggled on the road this season, and I just can't get there. Now, Vegas has already won this matchup 4-3, but they failed to cover as a road favorite in their last 11 games out, you guys. So there's no value looking here at Utah plus the 1.5, but I do expect this to be a 1-goal game. They've won their last 5 versus Central Divisional opponents for Vegas as well, which of course we have here in Utah. So I'm looking at this one. I think Utah has the value at home in this one. Clayton Keller has been so strong out there for this team. This first period, even though I think this one stays under the total, I can see mistakes coming out of both goaltending in that first period and then the lockdown in the second going scoreless. So I will take the over 1.5 in the first period. The full game, I think, does stay under that total, and Utah gets the win. Okay. You're going to take the Avs on the puck line tonight. We took the Avs on the puck line in their last game, and that cashed for us. Let's see what we're liking in that one tonight. First, we're going to talk about the Nashville Predators taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, Nashville off the loss last night to the Edmonton Oilers, where they gave them one heck of a game out there. They're rolling in as a favorite at minus 132, plus 110 for the Calgary Flames with Dustin Wolf expected. You guys, Dustin Wolf has become so phenomenally strong for the Calgary Flames. Now, total 6.5. I got to take this one to the under. I'm expecting this to be a goaltending battle. We got Saros, who is back in his groove, you guys. Saros has looked phenomenal for the Preds over his last 5 games. His a .934 save percentage, a 2.00 goals against average. This is going to be the game where goals come at a freaking premium tonight as these two teams battle it out. I am looking for Dustin Wolf to absolutely stand on his head like he's been doing. 5-2-1 on the season with a 2.86 goals against average, a .913 save percentage. He's coming off such a fantastic game versus the LA Kings in his last game out between the pipes. So I'm looking for Dustin Wolf to continue that solid play in net. But Saros, like I said, he's found his groove out there. We look at the Nashville Predators. They have the fewest goals on the road this season. While they're averaging 2.44 goals per game, road average of 1.86. It hasn't been pretty for the Preds on the road. And the defense has been so stringy here for the Calgary Flames at home. They've really been standing up at home, allowing some of the fewest goals at home. Their overall numbers are 2.94 goals against average at home. That number is dropping closer to the 2 mark when they are at home versus the overall record, which includes the road. Now, Calgary is coming off that 3-1 loss to the Vancouver Canucks out on the road in their last one. And again, the second night of a back-to-back here. for the Preds, who lost to the Oilers 3-2 last night. Now they're at Vancouver on Sunday, and we do see the Calgary Flames home versus the Islanders on Tuesday. Not a divisional opponent here, as the Preds do sit 8th in the Central, sitting 5-9-2 on the season, 4th in the Pacific. So we've got two teams that actually look so much different than what we would have thought. I thought Calgary would have been in the bottom numbers of the Pacific here, not sitting right in the middle. And I thought the Predators would have been sitting in the middle of the Central right now, not at the very bottom. Now, they've won their last 10 first periods following a game the night before. So on the second night of a back-to-back, we have seen the Preds come out hot in that first period. I do think it's a lower scoring game, but I think there is value riding with that trend for the Predators in the first period. We know Calgary has got off to some slower starts in the first period and hasn't been lighting the lamp. Even though I'm taking the under 6.5, I could see the Preds first period puck line covering, winning that first period 1-0, covering the puck line of a half a goal at plus 166. I think there is value, especially because they've rolled into Calgary and won the last 5 first periods in their meetings in Calgary versus the Calgary Flames. So I think it's a solid way to go, but I don't think Calgary answers back in that first period. So I think Preds first period puck line, the under 1.5 in the first period at minus 104, and the under 6.5 for the game as these goaltenders battle it out. Now, this will be a goalie battle here, so I will be looking at the goalie props. Let me just see if FanDuel's put them out in the last 10 minutes here. We still don't have those goalie props out for this game or any of these games, you guys, but we look at the Nashville Predators are allowing 29.1 or 29.4 shots on goal per game. Calgary allowing that 30.7. But again, their defense has stepped up more at home. I would be looking at both goaltenders, though, to go over their safe shots on goal, as long as that number is coming in 28, 29.5 to the over. Calgary's averaging 28.7 shots on goal per game, and the Nashville Predators averaging 31. I expect 35 shots out of both of these teams in this game. And again, I expect it to be a lower scoring one. So these goaltenders standing on their heads tonight is where we're going to go. Okay, the Washington Capitals taking on the Colorado Avalanche. The Washington Capitals coming in as the dog on the road at plus 146. Colorado is a minus 176 favorite on the money line. So, you know, for me, I would have to look at the puck line. Laying the 1.5 on the puck line is plus 136. This total 6.5 plus 104 to the under. I think what we have in this game is a fast start between these two and then a lower scoring game. We have seen the defense and goaltending play stronger as of late here for Colorado. Georgiev expected, and we really need him to get back into form. He's a better goaltender than he has started off the season, and Charlie Lindgren coming in here for the Washington Capitals. Now, this Caps team has been lighting the lamp with ease this season. They're averaging 4.13 goals per game. They've been strong on defense as well, but we've seen a couple goals creep in. Colorado, we know their strength on their power play. Their kill isn't great. Their kill is weak at 72.7%, but that power play, third best in the league, converting at 31.6. Clean games needed here for the Washington Capitals to stay competitive in this one. I think we see goals quick and then things settle down. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 goals, but it's too juicy at minus 152. I think both teams score. They trade back goals in the first period, and then defense and goaltending wakes up. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 144. Now, who am I looking to score those goals? I'm going to take Ovechkin. We know Ovechkin looking to set records this year. He's been playing hot. 10 goals on the season, plus 155 for the anytime goal for Ovi here. Nichushkin has been lighting the lamp for the Colorado Avalanche. He's plus 190 for the anytime goal, and we've seen him over his career play really strong versus the Washington Capitals. I'll look at Nichushkin at plus 190. We know Nathan McKinnon has been a straight fire for this team. What a fantastic start. Already 33 points for Nathan McKinnon. Nate Dogg out there on the ice is fire, but don't forget about Cale Makar, you guys. Cale Makar already 25 points on the season for Colorado. Rantanen has 12 goals so far as well. So many playmakers over here for Colorado. My problem is taking the puck line is because I think this one is a lower scoring game here. So I struggle to take the puck line. Now, we have seen Washington lose the last 9 first periods and games versus the Central Division. So if you want to look at the Avs on the puck line in the first period, let me just pull up that number for you. I do think the Avs can come out and win that first period, and more than likely getting both of the goals in the first period as they start off strong. So the over 1.5, actually, the juice is dropping. It's minus 148. That both teams to score is coming in at plus 148. The first period money line is too juicy. First period puck line for Colorado coming in at plus 138. Could we see it happen? My problem is Georgiev, I think, will be hit fast. So I do think Washington probably breaks that trend of losing the last 9 first periods versus the Central Division, but I don't think they win the game. But there's just no value here for them to lose by 1 goal. Okay, let's jump into the next game, you guys. We got the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Anaheim Ducks. The Detroit Red Wings are a minus 146 favorite here. I'm praying this team isn't in a look ahead. This is the first night of a back-to-back. They face the LA Kings tomorrow. They need every win that they can get, but will they look past the Anaheim Ducks? The Anaheim Ducks could be quacking tonight. They're coming in at plus 122. The problem here with the Anaheim Ducks is this team cannot light the lamp. Dostal is expected in goal for them. This total of 6.5, I think, is way too high. I expected a 5.5 in this one. The 6.5 coming in at minus 112 to the under is where I'm going to be going. I'm also going to look at the team total here for the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the Anaheim Ducks, they can't score. They're averaging 2.2 goals per game. The power play only clicking at 11.8%. And yes, we have a weak kill here for the Detroit Red Wings, but I don't care. This Ducks team, McTavish, isn't expected out there on the ice. He's still listed day to day. The Ducks team total under 2.5 goals coming in at plus 126. They've been held to 2 goals or less in 5 of their last 6 games overall, and 4 of their last 5 games on home ice. They have not broken that 3-goal mark. So I really do think under 2.5 at plus 126. Now, could the Ducks win this in a 2-1 battle? Yeah, they could, because the Red Wings, I do think the thought of the Kings tomorrow on deck, well, it's going to be in their minds. The Ducks have won 2 of the last 3 meetings, but we have seen the Red Wings win 3 of the last 5. They've won their last 7 games as a road favorite following an overtime game as well. And they're off that overtime game versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, which they won 3-2. Now we're seeing the Ducks off the loss versus Vegas. They played hard versus Vegas. They got a 3-2 loss, but still keeping it within a goal versus Vegas is impressive, even though Vegas has struggled on the road. Now the Ducks do have a game on the road on deck. They're at the Stars on Monday, and they'll play a back-to-back one because then on Tuesday they face the Chicago Blackhawks. This is the first night of the back-to-back versus a weaker opponent. I wouldn't take the Red Wings. They should win it. The Red Wings should win this in a 4-2 game, keeping us under the 6.5 with that empty netter coming into play. 3-2 game even here for the Red Wings. I just cannot see this one going over the total. I think that's the best bet, is to look at the under. Dostal has come in here with a 4-6-2 record, but a 2.75 goals against average and a 922 save percentage. When we look at here at Cam Talbot versus the Ducks in his career, this is where the real strength comes for the Red Wings. Even if these players are overlooking the Ducks tonight, Cam Talbot has fantastic numbers versus the Ducks, which also helps us with that under 2.5. He has, in 27 games, gone 17-8-2 versus the Anaheim Ducks with a 1.99 goals against average and a 935 save percentage in his career. So Cam Talbot, as long as he does what he normally does versus the Ducks, should be able to keep the Ducks under the 2.5. And then the Red Wings, no matter what they're thinking out there, should be able to win it. Rasmussen coming in here for the anytime goal is plus 600 for the Red Wings. And I do think he is worth a look here. He scored a goal in each of the Red Wings' last 2 games against the Ducks on the road. So when the Red Wings have been in Anaheim to face the Ducks, Rasmussen has scored an anytime goal in those last 2. Patrick Kane has 3 goals and 7 assists on the year. I would look at Patrick Kane as well. And, if we're looking at the Ducks, if McTavish is out of this lineup, it's got to be Troy Terry. He is leading this team. This season, he has 5 goals and 6 assists for a total of 11 points. Now, we have seen the Ducks go 6-0 on the puck line versus the Atlantic divisional opponents. There's no value taking the Ducks plus 1.5. The Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 205. So I think it's a tight game. And the Ducks team total under 2.5 is the best bet. Shout out to each and every one of you. So let's get into the recap, you guys. If you guys can hit that like button, hit that retweet button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We do go live here every day at noon Eastern, but make sure you stay tuned for my cup of Joes as well as the Madden quickies over on the SportsGrid app. So let's jump into it. The recap time, we'll do that round robin as well. I think you just round robin the bets in the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So let's do that game last. Firstly, a best bet in that game is looking at Sid for the anytime goal at plus 145. I then like Sid and Carlson for the point parlayed together at plus 118. Carlson for the point at minus 118. Monahan for the goal at plus 260. The over 3.5 for the Pittsburgh Penguins at plus 104. Brian Rust for 2+ points at plus 330, Malcolm for 2+ points at plus 260, and Chris Letang for the point if you can find it. We'll come back and we'll build a couple of parlays in that one. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Hockey Club. I can't bet Vegas on the road. They're struggling way too much. Utah is barking at home. Give me the plus money with Utah, but the first period over 1.5 goals. I think it starts off hot and then stays under the total of 6.5. The Nashville Predators taking on the Calgary Flames. Another under for me tonight as we've got 2 hot goaltenders. Look at their save shots on goal to the over 28, 29.5 for both of these goaltenders between Saros and Dustin Wolf. They've both been phenomenally hot. The defense has been strong for Calgary as of late. I do think the Predators can win the first period, though. They've shown us that they're able to do so, doing so last 5 times in Calgary taking on the Flames. First period puck line here for the Predators coming in at plus 166, laying the half a goal. I do think, though, this is a 1-0 first period, so I will take the under 1.5 in the first period because of how hot those goaltenders are going to be at minus 104 and the under 6.5 for the full game. The Washington Capitals taking on the Colorado Avalanche. First period over 1.5. We're starting to see the juice drop on that one. When I looked at it first thing this morning, it was minus 152. We're now seeing that right around minus 148. Both teams to score in the first period. I love it, plus 144. Alex Ovechkin for the anytime goal at plus 155. And Natushkin for the anytime goal here for the Avs coming in at plus 190. Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon is who you'd look to parlay for those points tonight. Both of these players lighting the lamp, getting those assists, playing so strong. 25 points already on the season for Cale Makar, 33 for Nathan McKinnon. And lastly, the Detroit Red Wings versus the Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to look at the Ducks team total as my favorite bet, under 2.5 at plus 126. I do think this game stays under the full total of 6.5 as the Red Wings more than likely win this in a 4-2, 3-2 style game. Rasmussen for the anytime goal has so much value here for the Red Wings at plus 600. He's proven that he can score on the Ducks in Anaheim, doing so in the last 2 games. Cam Talbot save shots on goal tonight. I would look at because we have seen the Red Wings giving up those shots, allowing an average of 32.1 shots on goal. The Ducks have not found that much offensive production with 27.7. So I do think we're going to see a lower number for Cam Talbot here of 27.5, 26.5. Take it to the over. Cam Talbot has been phenomenally strong versus the Anaheim Ducks in his career. He will be the make and break for this game because the Red Wings have the Kings on deck. If they're looking ahead at all to the Kings tomorrow, which they could be, we'll need Cam Talbot to do his absolute best in net to be able to get the win tonight. So you guys, that is the recap. The round robin, I would look here at the Pittsburgh Penguins game because so many records should be made. I would take Sidney Crosby for the goal, Erik Karlsson for the point, and then Monahan on the other side for the goal tonight. Those would be the 3 legs I would round robin. But if we're looking to parlay something, I would look at Sidney Crosby and Malkin for a point each. That's coming in at -122. I would also look at Sidney Crosby and Erik Karlsson for a point. That's coming in parlayed together at +118. You could also look at Sid, Malkin, and Rust for a point tonight, parlayed together at +168. If you add Monahan, which I do think he gets a goal for the point tonight, that's coming in at +331. So that's Sid, Malkin, Rust, and Monahan. You can also play around with Karlsson added in there as well, and Chris Letang, if you can get him for the point again, Chris Letang and Sid Crosby looking for that combo goal, the assist from Chris Letang, the defenseman, to Sidney Crosby for the goal. That will tie records here. So we're looking for that tonight, making NHL history. Sidney Crosby, if you didn't hear it before, 2 goals away from making NHL history for 600 goals on the season. They play the Sharks at home tomorrow. I do think the 600 probably comes tomorrow, but the anytime goal at +145, 2+ goals at +950. Definitely worth the sprinkle for him to get it tonight on the road against a team that isn't allowing or isn't putting up much defensive battles here. In the Columbus Blue Jackets, this team is struggling and hitting the road again. Elvis expected in goal. Tristan Jarry probably in goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Tristan Jarry brought back up from the AHL. He's 8-1-1 in his career versus the Columbus Blue Jackets as well, with a 2.39 goals against average and a .922 save percentage. You guys, that is it for me for today. We got a loaded slate on the ice tomorrow, so make sure you join me back here tomorrow, noon Eastern. We'll have our best bets in all of these games, player props, picks, and predictions. So you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that retweet button, and we'll see you tomorrow, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Best of luck out there on the ice tonight. Let's make some history with Sid. Let's see him make those defensive pairing history. The assist tonight also with Karlsson definitely is a strong way to look. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. 2+ points for Sid. Is that the best bet of the day? Yeah, 2+ points for Sid. Let's make a couple of histories happen. You guys, all the best.